Turkesterone has been a very hot topic over the last few months, and since I am now partnered with Gorilla Mind, I figured that it would be great to do a little test run of it because it doesn't affect your blood work, supposedly, at least thus far, and it's not going to negatively affect your testosterone levels or shut you down in any way, or cause hair loss, any of the things that I am looking to avoid. So today, I will be going over my introduction to my turkesterone cycle and show you my cycle design, as well as all of the metrics I will be tracking, which in my opinion is the most comprehensive turkesterone cycle to date on any anecdotal evidence. My name is Nick. I have my master's in exercise physiology, and typically I do recipes, ones that are high protein, low calorie, but I also know the science behind some of this stuff, so I also do scientific videos such as this one. So if you like this type of content, like this video and subscribe to the channel. So what will I be tracking? I will be keeping account of my weight, my calorie intake, my progress pictures, my body fat, which I will record from DEXA scans, my strength numbers in the gym, my body measurements, my blood work, and then after we have gone through all of that, I will also go over my protocol for how much turkesterone I will be taking. First, we will start with my weight. I have been tracking my weight for years. I have a method that I've been using that is pretty foolproof, about as foolproof as you're gonna get with just a scale, and I take my weight every single morning, first thing in the morning, right after I go to the bathroom, and I take the average of the 7 days as my weekly weight. My goal is to not deviate within like 4 to 5 pounds. If I put on a couple pounds, that's okay. If I lose a couple pounds, that's okay too. But my real goal here is to gain and see if I have any recomping effects, and also look at the other metrics such as body measurements and all that to see what my end goal or end results are. I think it is important to note that before starting my turkesterone cycle, I upped my calories to what I thought my maintenance was for about 3 weeks to make sure I take out any variability out of it, which is good because when I did up my calories with just more food volume and probably more water in my system, I gained a couple pounds, and then that stayed there over the next couple weeks once my body got used to the upped increase in calories. With that being said, my current average weight is 204.8. So what are my current calories? So most days of the week, I'll eat about 2,500 to 2,800 calories. But there will be 2 or 3 days a week where I go out to eat with my girlfriend or whatever the case may be. I make more recipes to test them out, and I eat more like 3,500. So it all averages out to about 3,000 to 3,300 per day. Speaking of which, if you want to see me do a full day of eating on turkesterone, please let me know in the comment section below. Next up is the progress pictures, but before we get into the progress pictures, I wanted to go over the Gorilla Mind Black Friday deals that start Monday next week and run through the entire week. Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, there will be buy 2 products, get 1 free, and you can mix and match. So instead of the usual 10% off with my discount code E4CM, you actually get 33% off. This even includes turkesterone, which is buy 2, get 1 free on Monday, along with all the other fat burners. And like I said, you can mix and match them as well. Then all of Thanksgiving weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the entire site will be 30% off. So if you were thinking about trying out a product but haven't gotten around to it or need to restock on your Gorilla products soon, then I would highly recommend you wait until next week. And that's what I usually do, honestly. Like every Black Friday, I just got sponsored by Gorilla a couple months ago. Every single Black Friday, I stock up on clothes, I stock up on supplements, as much as I can at least, to be able to use them for the rest of the year because they will not be cheaper than they will be next week, especially the turkesterone. All right, let's get into my progress pictures. I'm not gonna comment too much on these. I'm just gonna pretty much put them on the screen, but this is my front relaxed pose. This is my back pose that's also relaxed. And then this is my side pose here. Here's my front flexed pose. Unfortunately, I'm not that good at flexing my legs. I never really did that up until the last, I don't know, year or so. So that is my front flex. I will try to do better next time with my legs. And then this is my back flex. I'm not really trying to critique myself. I'm main gaining right now. We will go over my DEXA in a minute and I will kind of go through a little bit more with my pictures, but this is just more for reference to compare the before and afters to once we're actually done with the cycle. Let's go over my body fat that was measured by the DEXA, which is Greg Doucette's favorite measurement. Now, I think I'm a good candidate for a DEXA scan because usually the DEXA is more off when you're super lean and super muscular, or you're super overweight, and I'm kind of in that middle range. So let's see if you agree with the DEXA scan or not. Let me know in the comment section what you think my body fat percentage is. I will also put my pictures up with my DEXA scan. Now, it says my total mass is 206.8. I had my clothes on and I drank a pint of water beforehand, so this is more in like the 204s. However, again, this is a good metric because I'm gonna do the exact same thing next time I go. Make sure I have a bottle of water and I'm gonna have the same clothes on that I wore there the first time. So it says my fat mass is about 31 pounds, while my lean mass is about 168. Remember, lean mass is not just muscle. Lean mass is everything that isn't fat, okay? So that means bones, water, muscle, etc. My total body fat percentage that it has me at is 15%, which my self-assessment of myself, looking at my frame, I would say that I'm between 15 and 17%. I do have some stomach fat. I do have some love handle fat. My back does have a decent amount of fat on it. However, I think my legs are pretty lean. I know you don't see my muscular pose on them, but my legs are pretty lean. And my arms, while measured here, are 10%, which my arms are very lean. So I think that's pretty accurate with how vascular I am and how much I could see like the striations of my shoulders and everything. I think that 10% is accurate. So let me know in the comment section, do you think that this is accurate or not? Another thing that a lot of people overlook with the DEXA scan that I really like that you can also get with an MRI or a CT scan is looking at your visceral fat. Your subcutaneous fat is the fat that you can actually pull away from your body, where your visceral fat is what is actually covering your organs. Some visceral fat is good to cover your organs because it's supposed to be protective, but too much visceral fat can lead or is associated with type 2 diabetes, atherosclerosis, or what Cali Muscle just had, where he had the plaque buildup and ended up having a heart attack, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. So visceral fat isn't good whatsoever. In my opinion, I would rather have way more subcutaneous fat. I'd rather have my love handles forever than have no love handles and have a bunch of visceral fat that I can't get rid of. That's how dangerous I think visceral fat really is. So when we look at my visceral fat mass, we're at about 1/2 pound, which in volume in inches cubed is 15.48. Ideal is 0 to 52, so 15 is on the lower end, so I'm in the healthy range for that metric. And it looks like I hold more of my fat in my hips and my butt, which makes sense. I do have a pretty big behind, and I also do have bigger legs, especially up on my upper legs. And also, I don't know if they count the love handles in the android region, but it's pretty close to the butt region. So I think I hold a lot of my fat from like the hips down. Although it's not that far off. We're talking a percentage and a half here. As we go to my bone mineral density, for someone that resistance trains, that's a man, that's a young man that is very active as well, not just with resistance training, but also like walking and everything. I'm in the green. I'm in like the highest mark that there can be. So my bone density is good. Also, when we look at my arms, my fat distribution looks to be pretty even here. My right leg's a little bit different than my left leg by less than 1 pound. Not a big deal. I always try to do one unilateral move in my workouts if I can to try and even that out. That's about that for the DEXA scan. Another very important metric in my opinion, especially at my body fat percentage, because if I don't recomp too much but my strength goes up a lot, I mean, we got to know there's more muscle underneath that fat. So I think measuring my strength numbers is going to be huge. I use a bodybuilding.com app called Body Space, and if you want to see how experienced I am in the gym, if you just look at my Body Space app, I have over 1,500 workouts and I've lifted over 34 million pounds. So Rome wasn't built in a day. If you're frustrated where you're at right now and you're only a year into lifting, you have a long road to go, and just enjoy the ride. So what is my current workout split? Right now, my coach is Johnny Shreve. He has been my coach since about the April, May area. And we just went into a strength phase, which I think is perfect for my turkesterone cycle and what he was gonna plan for me anyway, turkesterone or not. I'm really excited to try something new. I've been doing push-pull legs forever, and although it is a great split, it's just exciting to do something new and try something new. If I go back to push-pull legs again, I'll be very happy with that. It doesn't bother me, but it's nice to do something a little bit different. My split right now is back and bi on day 1, chest and tri on day 2, quads on day 3, rest day 4, which I do an active rest. So usually I'll walk for an hour and a half or 2 hours, maybe do the stairs, get my cardio in. Following day, I do shoulders and triceps, then I do hamstrings, and then another active rest day. If I really am feeling it, I'll take a full rest day, but it's pretty rare that I do a full rest day. Usually I'm always active. I feel like lazy if I'm not doing something. So even though it's a rest day, usually I try and go out for a nice long walk, or whatever the case may be, go to the gym and walk on an incline for an hour and just watch YouTube videos. Again, I had this strength phase a few weeks before I started my turkesterone. I wanted to get any neuromuscular adaptations worked out, and any, like, when you first start a program, you know how your weights go up pretty fast. You get used to the movement, the neuromuscular adaptations occur, and you get stronger initially, and then you slow down. So I did 2-3 weeks of the strength phase before that to get that out of the way, and now everything going forward will really show if I'm progressing or not. Some of which is going to be from natural muscle gain from being in a main gain, having more calories, but also could be the turkesterone. Again, this is why we're doing so many different measurements to try and decipher, is it the turkesterone? Is it the main gain added calories? Or is it something else? This is the whole reason I want to do this. I want everyone to have the best feedback to make the most sensible purchase and to see if this stuff really works, since we're still going to wait probably a year or two for more research on turkesterone, ecdysterone to come out. Let's go to my body measurements. Now, funny enough, people probably make fun of me, but that's okay. It is what it is. My arms are 15.5 inches each. My thighs are about 23 inches each. My calves are also symmetrical. Both 15.5 inches. My chest measurement was 42.5 and my waist measurement was 33.5. You might be asking, how do I measure these? We learned in school how to measure all this stuff, so I know the different points on the body that you should be using, and I'm gonna make sure I keep it consistent, use the same measuring tool, do it the same time of day. Honestly, probably do it on the same training day that I did it before. I did it not warmed up. I did it with no pump. I did it first thing in the morning. So I'm gonna make sure all these metrics stay consistent when I take them every month for 4 or 5 weeks or so. Last but not least, let's go over my blood work. I wanna preface this by saying I don't know every single thing about every single blood marker. However, I will go over what I do have knowledge in and just show you my results to show you my starting points. And a huge shout out to the Power Project. I used their code to get my comprehensive panel done. It has a whole bunch of blood markers. I highly recommend that you get your blood work done to stay healthy and stay on top of it. It is not cheap per se, but what value does your life have? It should be priceless, and I would say it is very important to get your blood markers done to make sure. And you might think just because Derek owns Gorilla that I got all this stuff for free. No, I paid for this all out of pocket. I think it's important to stay on top of my health, and I want to optimize everything that I have going on in my life, especially as a busy entrepreneur that has crazy hours and is doing stuff at all types of the day. No. Now, originally I got this blood work done to do a before and after comparison, but I do think it is important to go over my before to see where my starting points are at. We will start out with my complete blood count. Everything looks good there, besides my eosinophils are at 0.5, which says high. At my doctor, 0.5 is still in the normal range. However, I will talk to Dr. Gillette and see if there's anything that I need to do or if 0.5 is now considered high. Obviously, I would like everything to be in range. Next is my BUN, or my blood urea nitrogen, or my nitrogen that I have in the blood. This is marked as high. Normally, this is marked as high because of your high protein intake, which I do have a high protein intake, of course. Also, my BUN/creatinine ratio is high, pretty much for the same reasons. If you resistance train, you're causing muscle breakdown or protein breakdown, which is a good thing for them to be rebuilt. That can raise these levels. Also, high protein intake in general can have more nitrogen in the bloodstream. And creatine supplementation, and I supplement with creatine as well. So I have been very vigilant of this. I've asked several doctors about this and done research myself, and everything that I've looked at says that this isn't an issue, and it's just because of my lifestyle with lifting and my high protein intake. Next is my lipid panel, which includes your LDL or the bad fats, your HDL or the good cholesterol, and then you have your ratio here as well. So my LDL is high, and this might be a little controversial to some people because people are going to go out and say that the anabolic diet, anabolic diet isn't good, anabolic diet shouldn't be followed, and that anabolic diet is garbage. However, I counter that by saying I have had a problem keeping my cholesterol in range, which we'll go over in a second, everywhere is different, but I've had a problem with it since I was a kid. So like, even when I was 170 pounds, eating chicken, broccoli, and rice, and thinking that that was the way to eat, I had these same issues. So right now it's at 138, which says high, and they want it under 99. Now, if we go to the Cleveland Clinic and look at what their range is, I'll actually read right through it so you guys have a better understanding. If you already have diagnosed coronary artery disease, atherosclerosis, or diabetes, the guidelines would place you into a high-risk category even if you have no symptoms. In addition to high LDL, atherosclerosis, or diabetes, other important risk factors are cigarette smoking, high blood pressure, low HDL, family history of early coronary heart disease, and your age, 45 or older for men, 55 or older for women. Now, I don't have any of these. I don't smoke cigarettes. My blood pressure has always been fine. My HDL has been low before, but currently, if we look back at our panel, it is at 46, which under 40 is low. I've had it in the 30s, but I've been working for a long time to get that up. So I don't have low HDL, I don't have a family history of coronary artery disease, and I'm not older than 45. So I have none of these risk factors. If you have 0 or 1 risk factor, you're in the low to moderate risk. The goal is less than 160 milligrams. So it says 160 milligrams or less is normal. Now, everywhere is going to be different. I think the lower LDL to a point, the better. However, you also have to understand that even my doctor has it 130 or less as normal. So everywhere is going to be different. Obviously, I would like to get it as low as possible. However, this more comes down to one thing for me. I resistance train 5 to 6 times a week. I do 60 to 90 minutes of cardio several times a week, as well as I get a minimum of 10K steps every day. To track that, I wear an Apple Watch, and even though the energy expenditure isn't that great on it, the pedometer is pretty damn accurate. And if we look at my year total, this year I have a daily average of 9,966 steps per day. Last year, when I was still working, I was getting more steps when I had a job at the clinic, working full-time there, as well as doing YouTube. I was getting 12,400 steps. And even if we go back to 2019, I'm getting even more steps there, 13,362 steps. So I do my cardio, I do my 10,000 steps or more a day, and I also resistance train, and I eat pretty damn healthy. What this comes down to is my genetics. Could I lose a little bit more body fat and may it come down a little bit? It might. But usually at that 15% range, that's where you see the most drastic drop in LDL. And as you get skinnier, it doesn't just keep dropping your LDL more and more and more. For example, I have seen men and women multiple times, numerous occasions, be at the clinic and their blood work spotless, looked great. They weighed 300 pounds or so. And obviously it kind of goes without saying, but these patients were eating whatever they want, did no physical activity, definitely weren't getting their steps in every day, and pretty much were couch potatoes, and their blood work looks perfect. So I think it is very important to realize how much genetics can play a role. And on top of it, they're older than me. The older you get, you know, the more that weight is going to affect you. You can't be 300 pounds forever and have that blood work look perfect forever. But some people, 40 years old, 300 pounds, blood work looks perfect. That being said, I would definitely like to get my LDL below 130 and below 100 if possible. So when I do have my consultation with Dr. Gillette, we will talk about that and see what the options are. You know, even if worst came to worst and I have to take a statin or a fibrate to help with my cholesterol, those medications help lower cholesterol, I would do it because I want to have a long, healthy life and have the lowest risk of heart attack, atherosclerosis, arteriosclerosis, all the stuff that I've seen so many other people go through. Also, they want you to get your HDL above 60. I would love to get it above 60, but genetics also screws me in that sense. Exercise usually helps raise your HDL, and I was exercising and it was in the 30s, and I was a little bit heavier than I am now, but still, my HDL shouldn't have been that low. So that is another thing that I will talk to Dr. Gillette and try to work on for the future. As we keep going down here, my iron looks good. My LH and FSH both are in the normal range. My testosterone is 518. That's also in the normal range. I'm not super high, however, I'm not super low. And my free test is like right in the middle at 18.5. My A1C is right at that borderline, 5.6, but still in the normal range. My T4 is also normal, as well as my DHEA, my TSH, my prolactin, my estradiol, my prostate. I can't really give you more information. As I said earlier, I don't want to feed you bullshit. If I don't know about something, I'm not going to be like, oh, that looks great because of this, this, and this. Again, I will give you more information as I learn more about it. I kind of hope to be like Derek, to be honest. Like in 3 years, I hope to know all this shit front to back. But IGF-1, also normal range. Vitamin D. My vitamin D, guys and gals, check your vitamin D. Mine was 14 before I started taking supplements. Now it's 59.6 by taking 1 pill a day. Make sure you get your vitamin D checked as well as your other markers, but I think vitamin D is kind of underrated and not as well talked about, which it should be, because a lot of people are lacking vitamin D, which can affect several things. My C-reactive protein looks great. My insulin looks good as well, along with my magnesium. And I don't even know what GGT stands for, to be completely honest with you, but it's in the normal range. Ferritin in the normal range as well, with my T3, my SHBG. Essentially, everything looks normal. The only thing that's out of whack is the LDL being slightly elevated, as well as my blood urea nitrogen, which has always been high since I've been lifting and eating protein, and also my eosinophils, which again is on that border. So overall, I think my blood work looks good. There are a couple points that we can try to optimize, and by the end of this, I should have some more information for you to kind of show the things that I did to either make it better or things that I tried that didn't work for me, because everyone's different. Everyone's going to respond different to different therapies. Let's finish up by going over my turkesterone protocol, which is very, very simple. For the first 6 weeks, I will be taking 2 capsules in the morning, 2 capsules at night, about 12 hours apart, which is about 2 grams total. And then for the second 6 weeks, I will be taking 2 caps 3 times a day, and I will start setting an alarm because I won't remember to do it 3 times a day. But every 4 to 6 hours, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and then 1 at night to just try to spread it out, try to keep it working at all times. I don't know. Again, there's not much data about any of this stuff, but when I do change from 4 caps to 6 caps per day, I'm not going to change anything else. So my calories are going to be the same. My training is going to be the same. So we're going to be able to see if there is a dose-dependent response to even more turkesterone, or if I kind of maxed out with those 4 pills. Some of you that know more about this know that the recommended amount to take is 1 capsule in the morning and 1 at night. So why am I not doing 2 a day? I think that it's kind of like Derek was talking about with creatine, that everyone shouldn't have to take 5 grams because there's people with different weights and people metabolize it differently. I'm 200 pounds. I think that a 200-pound male, it would be better to start with 4 caps a day. I don't want to spin my wheels by taking 2 caps a day. I'm not seeing any effect. And then I go up to 4 caps and waste all these capsules leading up to that point. So I'm starting with 4 caps a day. I think if you were lighter weight, maybe 150 pounds or less, I would start with 2 caps a day. But that is the sole reason that I am starting with 4 and then gonna titrate up to 6. Use any of my codes on Gorilla, PE Science, or the Power 13 cookbook to help support the channel. If you were thinking about getting turkesterone and you're gonna take the dive anyway, I would wait until next Monday, because that is by far the cheapest prices that you will get probably until next Black Friday on Derek's turkesterone. And until next time, I will see you in that next one. Deuces.